Hello, my name is Eric Putkonen. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm talking about the secret of the 4A's. It has been kind of a work in progress over the years, and so I'm kind of sharing today something I've been working on for a while now. Exploring, playing with, not so much working on, but I guess, just playing with. But I'm finding there's a deepening of levels, so to speak, in terms of, I guess, starting with allowing. Allowing is the first of the 4A's. And there is, in your immediate environment, I guess you can start with trying to allow everything to be as it is, just allowing it to be. And this does require a certain amount of giving up judgment and resistance and pushing away. But it is always the first step, I think, in allowing. Allowing is, I guess, the easiest place to start. And then, as you delve into allowing, you can try to allow the other things in the world that you don't like. Just allow them to be. There's like a flow state you can almost get into, is particularly in your immediate experience. Just get a feeling. See, it's not a mental thing. It's not mentally allowing. It's not a mental thing. Thought can't touch this. It's not a matter of rationalizing it and trying to justify it or contemplate your way through it. It's not mental. It's a feeling. And so whatever is, you need to have this feeling. And it's not really the nerves of the body. So I'm not thinking it's the nerves of the body kind of feeling. It's more of an intuitive feeling. Maybe emotional feeling. But it's not a nervous kind of thing, nervous system kind of thing. There is a feeling of allowing. And so if you see the chair or plants or whatever, you just allow it to be. Have the feeling of allowing. There is a feeling that can be felt when you allow something to be. Allow it to be there. And you can kind of delve into this more deeply. And you start getting into this flow state as you're allowing everything around you, the things you see, the things the things that you're aware of, basically. And then you could have the feeling of this allowing feeling, without assigning it something. It's allowing the chair, allowing the plant, allowing this. Then you just go allowing. And it's just kind of an open allowing everything to be as it is. And there's a certain feeling with this. Now this is what I would consider the first step of this spectrum, because there is a ever deepening that can happen. Now I'm focusing primarily as an experiential thing here, but this spectrum will also kind of tell you where you're at in terms of viewpoint of the world or spiritual progress even. Because allowing is the easiest. Because the next step is, or the next level of deepening or variation is accepting. Not only do you allow it to be, but you accept and embrace it. There is a accepting it to be. Because our feelings, our mind, due to our beliefs, concepts, conditioning, we might get the feeling of allowing something to be. Kind of like tolerance, in a way. You can tolerate it. Yeah, I can allow it to be. I'll tolerate that it's there. But that's not the same as accepting it, embracing it. And so it's not just allowing it in a tolerant way, but allowing it and then accepting it, embracing it. And so this is also a feeling. And so you can have a feeling of, I accept the chair, the plant, everything around you is like, accept this, accept that, and so forth. Just like when I was talking about allowing, you can play with accepting what's around you, what you're aware of, your environment, what's going on, what is. Accept what is as it is, and you're basically embracing it. I accept it, I embrace it. But pay attention to the feeling. Again, it's not mental, and so there's a feeling of acceptance. And play with this. Pick something that, as you're transitioning from allowing to accepting, if you find something that you found you could allow, but you're having a little more difficulty accepting, if you play with it and you actually accept it, you'll have this feeling. The feeling will shift. And that will give you the difference between allowing and accepting, because those are slightly two different flavors. I mean, these are all the same thing. It's a continuum of the same thing. But there's a depth. There's a slightly different flavor. And so you move from allowing what is to accepting what is. And so you have this feeling of accepting, not really having to assign it to anything. You're just accepting everything, moment to moment. And there's a certain feeling in this. And then, from accepting, you can move to appreciation. You're appreciating what is. Not only have you allowed what is to be, but gone beyond the tolerating allowance of it, you're accepting it. But then you move beyond the accepting of it to appreciating it. There's a feeling of it has value being here. You've moved beyond from merely tolerating to seeing value in it. And so you appreciate the things around you. And again, you can start easy, of course. You can start with friends, family, things that you have in your life, whatever. You can appreciate. I appreciate this. I appreciate, I'm appreciating this. I'm appreciating this. I'm appreciating this. And as you get deep into this feeling of appreciation, this almost flow, you stop giving it an object, and you just appreciate. There's just appreciating, and you just sit and abide in this appreciating, and it's open to everything. You're just appreciating what is as it is. And appreciation has a slightly different flavor than allowing or accepting. And so you've moved, and again, if you find that you could accept but you're having a hard time appreciate, when you're finally able to move from accepting to appreciating, you'll feel the flavor. You'll feel the difference. There is a difference between accepting and appreciating. Not that they're totally different. Like I said, they're all kind of connected. They're all in the same vein. It's a matter of depth. They're kind of the same thing. But what you're doing is you're delving more deeply into this. And so you get this feeling of appreciating. And once you've gotten pretty deep into appreciating, Then you move into awe. You move into awing. It's amazing. Wow, this is great. And awe, especially if you've seen a great work of art or a great scene, you know the feeling of awe. I mean, not everybody knows the feeling of allowing. Sometimes you got to play with it. Again, accepting is also something people have to play with sometimes to feel it. But most people, even without having started this, know what it feels like to appreciate. And so it's not, you kind of know what the feeling of appreciation is. Likewise, you kind of know what the feeling of awe is. But what you're doing is, as you look out, you're moving deeper from appreciating to awing. You're in awe of the chair, the plant, the everything. And as you get into this feeling of awe, again, you quit assigning it to things, and you're just awing. They're just awing without a specific thing. You're awing everything that is. You're just in awe of what is. It is, there's wonder, there's a mystery to it. It's amazing. And there is a feeling that goes with awe. And you can feel awe for everything. And so as you get into this feeling of awe, then you can sometimes move backwards a bit to deepen the awe a little bit, because it's not like all the stuff is left behind. This is a cumulative thing. And so to be in awe, there's also appreciation for it. There's also a total acceptance of it. There's also an allowing it to be. I suspect that they're cumulative in that if you didn't really appreciate it, you wouldn't be in awe of it. Likewise, if you weren't accepting it, you couldn't be in awe of it. If you didn't allow it, you couldn't be in awe of it. And then if you talk about appreciation, you couldn't appreciate unless you've accepted it. You can't appreciate unless you've allowed it. Each of these require the previous. They're cumulative. And so sometimes to deepen the feeling of awe, it's interesting to touch upon, you might have this feeling of wonder and awe, but then you go back lightly to appreciating it as well. And so you feel appreciation and awe and accepting and allowing all kind of together. But this is a cumulative progression. And I find these are stages because in that when we resist things, especially if you think about things that you think are just horrid, shouldn't exist, shouldn't be, the whole idea of appreciating or being in awe of it just doesn't seem right. And so you got to start at allowing. You just got to allow what is to be as it is. And then you can move into accepting it to be as it is. Then it's possible to move into appreciation for it to be. And then it's possible to move into being in awe of it being. And so it is a cumulative thing, but it's also a progression, I find. And what you're doing is you're not sure how to verbalize it, but you're letting go ever deeper in a way of resistance and separation, because awe Awe is this feeling that leaves you totally open. Awe breaks you open. I don't know if you've ever been awestruck. You see something, it's just, poof, you're just in awe. There's this total open receptivity to it. There's that aspect of awe. And it's possible to have awe be sustained throughout the day. It doesn't really get in the way of acting, nor does it get in the way of knowing what things are. But there is a certain amount of, wow, it is like this. That is amazing. You know, there's a certain openness to it. And so you might want to play with this. You know, and that's kind of how this video came about. The secret of the 4 A's. Allowing, accepting, appreciating, awing. And so maybe play with this and see what you think. But if you have any questions, comments, please post below. And until next time, thank you much.